Welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Betches, not to be confused with Books and
Betches.
That's you said
Same thing.
Yeah. I'm Kristen, and with me I have
Bitches.
Erica.
Maria.
This is a different episode. We are circling back. I like saying circling back now. You said it once and now it's stuck in my head.
Everybody says it in the corporate
And we
world,
work
and I
from
hate
home.
it.
Corporate role.
Yeah.
It's a corporate thing.
We're
That
circling
and
back.
aligned. I hate aligned.
Yeah, that's bad too. I don't like any of these.
And we'll offline about this.
We can offline
If
about
I hear
all of
one
this.
more offline.
Oh, we say like connect.
Yeah,
connect.
pivot is a big one,
Pivot.
especially in the film world. This episode, we're actually going to be talking about mental health again. We've done one of these episodes in the past. You guys seem to enjoy it. It's just a moment where we like to get a little bit more real, talk about our mental health and talk about mental health in general.
Yeah.
I think it's an important thing to discuss.
If you're feeling sensitive in a way where maybe our discussion of mental health is not good for you right now, I suggest stepping away until you're ready. And if you feel like you need any kind of support that you may not be finding in your day-to-day life, our messages are always open.
Yes, we do have a Discord and we have a mental health channel specifically, and it's a good way for all of us kind of just to support each other and get together, especially now and how hard things have been over the past few years and
you're
in general.
not just us, but several of other
Our community
is amazing, and we all support
It
each other so much. So if you feel like you need that support, we're here for you.
Oh, for
We've
sure.
I feel like we created like a chat room that like everyone became friends in, and now we I don't know, it's really cool seeing it like unfold, and it has nothing to do with us. We're just
we're just housing it.
We literally just housed it. It's like we rented the space and now everyone's just
I
showing
love it.
up
It's
and they're
been my
making it
favorite
their own.
thing.
Me too.
It has nothing to do with us. It's all the people that have flocked. I guess maybe we've attracted some of these like good people, but yeah, it's just
I grew up in chat rooms as a kid.
Yeah,
me too.
same.
Me
So
too.
to me, like a chat room like this is so fun.
I will say too, like if you're somebody who's intimidated by meeting new people or making new friends or joining a group that already exists, I'm speaking from experience.
Yes.
Anytime there's like I want to get into a club or something like that, I'm like, there's probably already connections that are made. It's scary. It's daunting. I will say I haven't felt that in our group. I feel like everybody that's come in has somehow, whether you made a separate friend or you've made multiple friends or you've just had a discussion, it's been very positive.
Someone else has mentioned this to us, or at least to me within our messages. They're like, I would like to join, but I'm scared. I don't know.
I get that.
I don't know if I can jump in there. It's like a lot of people, because it's over 200 people right now.
I get that.
It's a lot.
It's scary.
You're not the only one.
Yep.
So don't worry. You can even message
smaller
us
ones.
separately in there. There are smaller ones, but you can easily message us in there separately and
or
DM
you could just
us.
kind of watch it, see
Yeah.
what's going
Watch
on,
it.
start
Yeah.
liking
Yeah.
a few things,
interact how you feel you are ready to.
For sure. I definitely want
But
to
it's definitely entertaining.
it's entertaining.
So the last time we did this, I'll give a status update for myself. The last time that we did this, I was kind of battling through my own depression. I went off medication, and I don't advise, if you are on medication, to wean yourself off medication. You should do this by a medical professional. I did not, and I kind of went a little berserk, I would say.
In what way?
Very emotional, very doomsday-esque, emotional. Not off myself emotional, but just the world is ending emotional, just very off the rails. So I recommended medication. I think it's great. I'm currently not taking medication anymore. I think I probably should be, but I'm trying to get pregnant right now. So it's just not on the table for me in terms of because of that situation. So I'm trying to do what I can in other ways, which is, going to a therapist and doing talk therapy, which has been very helpful for me.
I have a question. If you were to get pregnant, are you able to take those medications, or do they advise again? I just don't know anything about it.
I think there are some that you can, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, it's something to definitely talk about with your doctor, because if you're feeling a certain way, obviously you want to get that under control. Do you feel like you have control of your emotions right now, or do you feel?
Yeah, I think the things are getting back to normal. I think a lot of my anxiety is not as bad. So one indicator from my anxiety is I know this sounds so stupid, but it hurts me on a metaphysical level. I take my dog out and I forget if she's outside or not. And I'm like, did I bring Maddie back inside?
Well,
and
you
then
have ADD
I have
too,
this,
right?
Yeah. I have this like fucking panic attack, brink of panic attack. I'm like, did I leave my dog outside for the last 3 hours?
Wow.
Type like thing. And it stems from nothing. I've never left my dog outside.
Yeah.
But
And
most anxiety does stem from
but
yeah, exactly.
it's that like it's the anxiety gives you kind of like that like forgetful mindset that a lot of people pair with ADD, and it's actually a general anxiety disorder, which I didn't know until I went to therapy, and a psychiatrist was like, no, you have severe anxiety.
Yeah. Still
but
need to do that.
so that's kind of like my indicator of where I am on my mental scale is like, am I forgetting my dog every day or not?
Right.
And right now, like, I'm not. So I'm feeling good and I'm feeling calm. I'm doing more things. We've gone a lot of places the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
so
that
like
probably helps.
I've seen a lot of people.
You stepped outside.
Yeah, like I've been outside a little bit. I think right now I just need to like incorporate some exercise into my life, and I'll be
Yeah, same.
golden. But
That's something that's happened. I've realized that for myself too.
and I also noticed, and this is kind of weird, but like if I'm reading less, I know that I'm like in a better place, which is it's tough to admit that like is such a hard
There's
crux.
definitely a correlation there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you kind of
I talked about in the last episode that like reading was a way to escape like the depression and anxiety that I was going through during the pandemic.
Right. Totally.
For me, I wish I would read instead of what I do when I'm depressed. Which is like I binge like dumb TV that I would
too.
never watch.
Yeah.
I've watched 4 seasons of Bad Girls Club. In my entire life, I've never wanted to watch Bad Girls Club.
I love Bad Girls Club.
Now I love Bad Girls Club. And
I feel like
it's
you've been in
bad.
a really rough.
My brain's not happy with me right now.
What's going on?
I don't know. Mainly.
Talk to us, Maria.
Do you have a therapist?
No, I should get one.
Get a therapist.
No, oh my God. I should talk
I
about
should
when I
too.
try to get the therapist. That's on you?
That's
No.
pretty crazy.
You tried to get a therapist?
I try to
Girl,
call,
listen.
right? So my job has this, what's it called? EM something. It's a program where they give you like 8 free sessions
Yeah.
with a
Okay.
therapist, right? So I call the what are they called? Insurance company. Call the insurance company. I'm like, hey, looking to try to get therapy. Cool, great. Question: are you worried about yourself? Are you trying to kill yourself? No, I'm fine. Just need to talk to somebody. So I get given numbers. I was like, I need someone in my area. I would love it to be Latina because I am Latina, and I would love someone who gets my culture. And they gave me some numbers. I call one up.
This is wild.
And she picks up, and it's the actual therapist. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was going to speak to your secretary or someone in administration, whatever. I'm just hoping to start therapy soon. And she goes to me and she's like, okay. Also, all in Spanish, which already threw me off because I was like, I want Latina, but like Americanized Latina, so I don't speak butchered ass Dominican Spanish to you. And she asked me, okay, well, can you find out for me how to bill that? Because I've had people come to me and I don't know how to bill it. And yeah, so figure out how the billing happens for that and then call me back.
Isn't that wild?
And I went through full on panic mode of like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll figure out the billing for your office. Sure. Yeah. I'll call right back. Hung up and did not try again.
Oh, that's such
And
a
it
deterrent.
threw me off. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just trying to find someone to help me out.
Yeah.
And I got
That's
this
wild.
random ass lady saying, I need to figure out how I get paid.
Damn.
And it's like, fuck.
That's a good
know?
way to ruin. Yeah. I encourage you not to give up.
I think I'm just gonna try to find one that does
find one
that
on
just
your own.
Oh my
Yeah,
yes,
not through
that's my
work.
next thing. Is
They're
gonna
not that
find
expensive. Like if you have good insurance, it's really like $20 a session.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Find one. It's more so. You know what else also happened? Omicron happened. I was going to the gym all the time. I was going to Orange
Me
Theory,
too.
and I hit like that cult version of like, oh, I'm an Orange Theory. I fucking love this. It's weird.
I forgot about that.
And because of Omicron, I stopped going. And work got really busy in November, December. Like,
Right.
I had like 10 plus projects to do in less than 6 weeks.
Right.
And it was a lot of work. So I was like, I don't even have time to go to the gym. And then Omicron hit and I couldn't go. And then I know the gym helps my brain. Otherwise, no. And then since then, social media has been weird.
Yeah, it's been
weird.
bad.
I'm going to cry.
No, don't cry.
Oh my God.
Aw, Mars.
Cut this out.
No, it's real.
No, it is real.
I just feel sad all the time.
It sucks because, like, as a friend, I don't know what to do, you know? Like, when your friends are going through this, it sucks so bad. Yeah. I'm going to cry, too.
I'm usually the one that helps. I'm usually the one that's there.
Yeah.
That's, like, supporting everybody else. And then with me, I'm like, what do I do to support myself?
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. And my dog's there, though.
Dogs are good.
Animals.
Okay.
I definitely recommend going to therapy though, and like you might find a therapist, and obviously Maria's experience is not great. But you might
hate him.
You might actually even go to a therapist and go to a full appointment.
Yeah.
And not
go
like
through like
them.
multiple. I've heard people go through like
and not like
5
their
therapists.
therapist.
Yeah.
And you are
Our friend Sherry went through that.
yeah.
yeah.
She went through several, and I asked her too about her experience, and I was like, I'm proud of you to go through that and still try to find one.
I'm
But
like, do
even
I
right
have
now,
the
like-
mental capacity
So, like,
to even do that?
Actually,
That's wrong.
she's a great example. Right now, like at the time, her therapist was great for her,
Yeah.
and now she's at a point where like she's just like, you're not helping me anymore.
So that sucks too.
But it's
And,
good
like,
that
you-
she
I've
knows.
outgrown- Yeah.
I've outgrown this advice. This is not the same. Like
I
I have
thing.
new problems.
Not even that, but like in the way that I needed help is changing, and
Yeah.
evolving.
Yeah.
And like my best friend, like he also he's a big provider of therapy too, and like different therapists do different things.
Yes.
And they like some are very like medical, some are very like talk therapy where they're really just
What
like,
is talk therapy? Can you tell me what that is?
it's basically you like chatting at them and them being like, oh,
That's
well.
weird. I feel like I won't know what to say.
And,
I'm
and then
same.
they ask you and they're like, you know, how does that make you feel? Like it's like that very
That's when
like
I start crying. I'm a crying.
That would be my
kid.
problem.
They lead
yeah.
you to the water.
I had that happen with a psychic once.
Me too. Oh my
They lead
god.
you to
She
the
was
water.
like, she goes,
Leah or
why
whatever?
are you so sad? And I'm like, why am I so sad?
I started crying
And I
immediately.
started crying in front of her.
She was like, I'm not a therapist. And I'm just like, I'm just crying because you mentioned my grandparents. Like, what do you want from me?
Well, that's different too. That's
I mean, I've
that's family.
definitely.
I feel like I don't I admire people that go to therapists. I feel like I'm not.
It's scary.
I don't have the strength to do it. Like, my whole entire life, I have avoided going to people for help.
Dude.
My entire life, I haven't had, like, I know people have close relationships with their parents or their moms. Like, I didn't have that. So, like, for me, I get this weird feeling in my chest when I know, like, if I feel like I can't ask somebody for help and it hurts and it's, like, physically painful. So, like, therapy.
My anxiety is physically like painful.
Me too.
Like I get it in my left shoulder.
Yeah.
So as a kid, it used to be my knees. My knees would be really weird.
It's debilitating.
And then now it's my upper left shoulder, and it feels like someone's stabbing me.
I didn't
I feel
realize
that.
people felt anxiety
Yeah.
like
yeah.
that.
I feel
it's
it.
bad.
My
heart rate.
psychiatrist, so therapist is not
Yes.
able to prescribe
Yeah,
medicine.
correct.
Psychiatrist can.
Different.
My psychiatrist was like, "Where do you feel your anxiety?" And I was like, "My fucking head. I don't know. Like, what do you mean?"
Where do you feel it?
I'm like, I don't know. I fucking stopped breathing. Like, what do you
Yeah.
want me to say?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
it.
But I guess people feel it in different places.
Also, like it also
Yeah.
the breathing thing is weird. And also, I was telling who was I telling this to? My coworker Sophia. I was like, I feel like a toddler. I feel like I'm a 2-year-old that can't control her emotions.
Dude,
Like, I'm
I-
on the verge of a breakdown every day.
I shake. Like,
Yeah.
so my anxiety is bad all the time, but it gets really bad when I need to like present in front of people to the point where my heart rate is probably 250. I start to see,
And you already have a fast heart rate.
My fingers go numb sometimes.
Oh.
And I sit there and like my chest is really tight. My fingers go numb and it feels like I'm burning from the inside out. Like that's how bad my anxiety gets. And then when it starts to settle down, I'm left just like shaking and like it makes my neck hurt because I'm like scrunched up.
like-
Yeah.
It's really, really debilitating. And I brought this up to my doctor in the past and he mentioned medication. And this was when I was like full on
Against
no
it?
medication. I've witnessed what my mom's gone through. She was over medicated. So like that's always been really hard for me. But now that I'm like, I need a physical, I think part of me is actually like leaning
You're
towards.
really gonna think about it?
I really am because it's
I think
you can't live.
I'm not
I can't
a doctor.
live like that.
I'm not a
It's
doctor,
debilitating.
but like you could also, you know,
You can start with a slow,
you
low.
could take
That's what
like
he
a
said.
Xanax.
That's
you
what
could
he
take
said.
like
Which
in those
I do.
moments.
So when
or
I
like a Klonopin or
but,
like
but when I fly, I take Xanax, and it got scary because I would be laying in bed and I would have really bad anxiety for no reason, and I would sit there and contemplate, well, I could just take a Xanax and go to bed. That's when I got scared. That's when I hid I literally had to hide it from myself and like get it away from me and be like, don't like. It took a lot. Like addiction runs in my family. It's scary and it's like it's such a shitty feeling to like be kind of hopeless and
you
like
can't even help yourself because you're afraid it'll go the wrong way.
Yeah, it's scary.
I mean, that's when
when therapy comes in.
I'm not that like a therapist, but also like yoga, meditation.
I wish I could meditate.
It's
my brain
really,
cannot stop.
Same.
So I've been
it's
also
really
having,
understated.
Yeah, I have a work anxiety too. So when did I go to Puerto Rico? December?
Yeah. That was bad.
That gave me the worst anxiety. You guys know because I talked to you about it. But the Omicron was just starting, and I was just like terrified. Mainly because it's work. I don't want to fuck up work. Failure is my biggest fear in life.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. Me on set is not my favorite. It's always very stressful. From what our last job was, it was very like high stress. Don't fuck up or you're fired today kind of thing.
Totally.
So I was like so scared to go, and I was going through these like straight up like shakes.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop.
I know. Yeah.
Oh,
I feel you.
Just thinking about it makes me like upset.
My anxiety, like I said, I feel it in my head, but like my vision like starts to tunnel.
That happens to me too.
No,
I get
doesn't.
tunnel. That's what I was saying. Like,
And,
I start to feel like I'm blacking out.
Yeah, like it's starting. It like I get tunnel vision, and like my eyes kind of like it feels like my eyes are shaking.
Yes.
So like when he asked me that, I was like, I feel it in my eyes. I guess like because that's the first thing that like.
Your therapist is a guy?
Yeah, he's a very funny Indian dude.
I think that's what I want. I need like a man.
I don't know.
I had a hard time connecting
I
with
know
women.
I want a Latina or someone who's Latino.
So my company Indeed does, ever since the pandemic started, they do free mental health.
That's
They do
awesome.
free therapy.
I love that.
So at any point in any day, I can go log into the system. There's a choice of like 10 different therapists. They have a billion different times. You sign up for a half hour for free every week,
Nice.
however many times you want.
I like that it's easy to do. I feel like
It's so
most
easy to
things
do.
are so hard. Like the first conversation with the woman like picked up, it's just so hard to even go through that process to find someone.
Yeah.
And it just makes me not want to even try.
I feel like I have so
they're
many
not
things.
giving you like they're not giving you like these like super in depth like, you know what I mean? It's just like if you need somebody to talk to. I've been seeing the same girl because like she knows all the shit. And so one thing that I've been dealing with, and this is kind of new to the table because last time we talked about this, I wasn't trying to have a baby. One thing that I have been having a lot of really, really negative emotions about is having a baby.
Yeah.
And the stigma that comes along with that of like, and I don't mean to like pin it on my mom because it's not just my mom, but it's everyone around me that has children that's like, hold my baby or like hold this child, like don't you want a kid, like, and it's just like this constant push of and I'm sitting there being like, I don't fucking like babies. I don't like I don't have no offense on your baby.
Yeah.
Your baby's great, but I don't want to deal with your baby.
He seems great. He seems like a great thing. But I don't like babies. They are weird. Like, sure, they're cute, but they're not. Like, I don't know. And like, just because I'm a woman, I feel like I am forced into this like
1000%.
matriarchal like
Yes.
and maternal like and it weighs on me so heavy because then it makes me feel like I'm gonna be a bad mother when I'm like, it isn't fair. Why is John? Nobody's telling him to pick up the baby. Why am I being forced to do this? Like. This and again, like, gender's a social construct. Like these gender norms have been created over hundreds and thousands of years, and they're not fair.
Exactly.
I don't feel like they
don't
to
age
like
well.
babies.
They don't age well. They're based on a contract of time where women were always oppressed. Women are always told what to do. All you do is procreate,
and
feed them, and done.
And
like,
we need to stop.
I have so many other things about myself and that are more interesting than my unborn child. Even when I have a kid, I have 14 million other things next to mother.
It's like you lose who you are.
I don't want to lose who I am, and I feel this like overwhelming pressure, and it's dragging on me. One, it's giving me anxiety about being a mom. It's giving me an anxiety about like what that looks like for my next like 20 years of like when I do have a kid. And it's like, it's horrifying because then I'm like, also like, is there something wrong with me that I feel this way?
I think
because
a lot of people
seems good with it.
No, I think a lot of people are relating to what you're saying right now. I've
sure
seen
do.
it a lot. Like
I sure do.
I've seen it a lot in the community too, where like moms get shit for just going out or like you know like drinking again or just being they're like, oh, you're being a bad mom, and it's like, no, I'm being a fucking
That's
human.
another thing I see on social media often. Like moms on social media shame each other so much.
We're so hard on each
for
other.
what? Like
it's
how
it's
you raised your
horrifying.
kid and how they raise their kid. As long as they're not raising them to be a freaking killer,
Exactly.
leave them alone.
It's none of your business.
Leave them alone.
1000%.
We're in a world now where everyone thinks their opinion is the first thing they have to say, and that we have to think everybody's right.
Yes.
No, just like keep your opinion to yourself. Raise your kids right, so you don't create more terrible
and
humans.
stop asking women when they're gonna have children. Stop. Some of us either don't want it or can't have children. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know
Well,
what
that's
that other
that's another
person.
thing.
You don't know what that other person is going
This
through.
is why I hate the pregnancy trope.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fair.
I mean, at the end of the day,
To me, like,
not everyone's happy ending is pregnancy.
I feel like
Exactly.
I'm always happy with people like my family members who have kids. I'm very good with kids.
Yeah.
I am terrible with kids.
I am great with kids.
Yeah.
I don't know what
went
to.
to my
I don't know
head.
what to say to them.
You don't have to say
Figure
much.
it out as you go.
You don't
It's
have to-
different when I think it's different when it's your kid anyway.
Yeah.
I sure fucking hope so.
So
And if it's
like,
not, John's got you to pick up the
my
slack.
cousin Ariana, she's basically a mini me, and so her entire life it's always been like, well, I'm gonna call Maria to tell you to clean your room.
Yeah.
This is a thing that happens often. I'm
That's
told
funny.
to talk to Ariana to do things as a normal kid growing up,
She'll listen to you.
because I'm the
Yeah.
one she listens to, because she idolizes me.
Yeah.
I'm like the big sister that she should be, because she doesn't have a big sister. So but because I'm good with kids, like I feel like I just talk to her. You know?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
she's
But like
just-
people expect like, oh, so you're gonna have kids? Oh, you wanna...
I love my
I hate
mom,
that.
but my mom has been doing this now.
Yeah.
Where she's like, she
It's
said
a
it to me-
crazy
She said to me the other
pressure.
day. She goes, "Zena's a great granddaughter. I love her. She's wonderful. But I would love a granddaughter to put clothes on." And I go, "Mom, your
put
other
clothes on,
daughter's
Zena.
married.
Yeah.
I'm single. You know, Leslie's married, and Leslie ain't having kids soon. Leslie don't want kids right now, or
Yeah.
probably not. Like, and the thing is, like in Latino culture too, is like that's very ingrained. That matriarchal, like, mom, all you do is you make babies,
Yep.
and you make the babies grow up, and that's it. That's your job.
I don't want to do that.
And I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to explore my life and enjoy my life how it is. Having kids to me doesn't feel like that goal.
You're not. Yeah.
So for me, and like I don't want this to be entirely kid based, but like where I'm at that age where I'm trying, and you know we want to have a baby, and like, but we got to that point because I did a bunch of shit that I wanted to do when
Right.
I didn't have a kid. Like I checked off a ton of check marks
still got a lot
that
to
I
go.
was like,
Yeah.
I want to do X, Y, Z with John before we have this baby, and then we can't do some of these things. One of them is buy a king bed. Like that's, I know that sounds stupid, but like, you know what I mean? There are like, we did the Italy trip. That was a trip that I wanted to do. I wanted to take 2 weeks, go to fucking Italy, do the whole damn thing to not think about a kid.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to go to Hawaii, not something you can do with a kid. Like there are things that I've done where I'm happy that I did because I probably will no longer be able to do them.
For a while. For
a while.
A little bit. Yeah.
And then there are still some things that I know that I can do with a kid.
Yeah.
There are vacations I know I can go on with children. There are things that I know I can see with children. And I'm okay with them coming along the way with me. But I'm not going to like, I mean, I said this to John when we started dating. I'm not slowing down the train.
Yeah.
Like you're either jumping fucking on it or you're not.
I love that.
Like this train is going
Yep.
going to Hartsdale, wherever the fuck it's going. Or
What?
I don't know. Clarksville?
What's Clarksville?
She doesn't know.
That's the Monkey song.
Oh,
Take
I
the
don't-
last train to Clarksville and I'll meet you at the station.
I've never heard
Nope,
this
okay.
song.
Old song. But yeah, I talked to my therapist about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just feel like everyone around me is really thrusting children on me and babies, and it just
It comes with this age.
Yeah.
It just seems that like I'm the only one, like nobody's saying it to John, and my therapist was like, surround yourself with different people. She's like, my friends are not like that.
That's fair.
We all hate our kids. And she's like, we don't, like, that is not how my friends operate. And
Yeah.
she's like very similar age to me. I think she's a little bit older. And she's just like, you're just surrounding yourself with the wrong type of people for yourself. And she's like,
What
get new
sucks is that
friends.
sometimes that people's your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But when she said that, I kind of I took a step back and I was like, who are the people that are really saying this? Who are the people that are really thrusting that on me? And I'm like, those are people I probably don't need to be as close with anymore.
Yeah.
I can take a step back from these relationships because they're not aligning with where I'm going in my life.
I will say, even with family, I think you make a really good point. Sometimes they're family. Like, there are moments where we do need to step back and distance ourselves from like toxic situations. And I've noticed, and I know like a lot of my family listens to this podcast, but there are moments that
she still loves you.
Yeah, there are moments that like, you know, things happen and I need to like step back because I will drive myself crazy. Because I mean, I've had like 4 mental breakdowns, like bad ones. Like, I cry, but not to the point where like I'm on the ground crying and don't know what to do with myself. But like I've had a couple of those over the past like 3 months, and some of it has stemmed from like just disagreements with family. And like I get told a lot from my family that I get offended too easily whenever I stick up for myself, or whenever I like have something to say. It's always like, oh, you're always so offended. And then I'm stuck in this position where I'm like, I just don't know how to react anymore. And it makes me go crazy. Like, there are times where like I question like who I am as a person. I'm
that
like,
feels gaslighting.
I mean, yeah, it's gaslighting.
Well, still, like the amount of times like I've questioned my whole life because I've heard like multiple people be like, oh, either A, you're too offended, or like you're too abrasive for like this if I get sarcastic. So like there's so many times where I like sit back and I'm like, am I just like not a good person?
I have never thought you were too easily offended.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone?
Like, in our entire friendship, I've always
you.
been like, I've always thought you were one of the strongest girls I know.
Oh, thank you.
Shit you deal with?
But it does. It takes such a toll on my, like, the amount of times this year I've questioned like who I am as a person.
I've questioned my life choices on the work side.
Yeah.
I'll never quit my job. I've been saying that they will take me out of that place boots first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not leaving that. That's my dream job.
It's stressful.
Literally my dream job, but it's been stressful.
Work stress is a whole different thing because like it's hard, and especially now. And this is why I think therapy is so important, is like right now, a lot of us are working from home. Mm-hmm. You can't just leave it at the office. Your office is in your fucking house.
Exactly.
So it's really hard for me to turn it off at the end of the day because I'm still on my laptop at 7 o'clock.
I'm different.
You close your laptop at 5?
When I don't have actual extra work to do, right? My hours are from 10 to 6. Mm-hmm. If my work is like, if I'm usually ahead. That's why I work a lot. If I'm trying to get always ahead of my job, so I don't have to worry about it when the laptop closes. At 6 o'clock, if nothing else is happening, that shit's turned on silent and I'm done.
Yeah.
I move, and this has come from growth since our last job. Mm-hmm. So at WWE, I had my email on my personal phone.
Yes.
And that was we worked in that department we worked in, so we were getting emails all through the night.
Yep.
And I was constantly waking up. The first thing I would see is emails. When I started my newest job, I made a mental note from the get-go. Mm-hmm. I'm setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And my boundary was I'm getting a work phone. Mm-hmm. And I will only answer emails on the work phone. Does my boss now have my personal phone? Yes, but we'll fix that later.
I will say that's what I learned at my last job was one of their core values written down in stone was family time is more important than work, basically. That wasn't those words.
I mean, that's just such a huge value.
And I worked at the end of the day. They said, okay, you're done working. You need to go home.
You can leave.
Even if I didn't finish my work, like it was so ingrained. And I've said this before, like I'll never go back. Like, I mean, there are nights that I definitely, like last night I worked until 9 but it's things that
it's not a daily thing anymore.
No, it's not.
It only comes when
the problem at WWE was that
it was daily
them out. It was every single week. Mm-hmm. Everything was a fire. Everything was 911.
Yep.
And it was not.
Yeah.
Everything wasn't 911.
Exactly.
Everything wasn't like life or death. But they made it that way, and they still make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it always feels like the end of the world.
It's hard to work in those environments when you're constantly on like call to like, and if you don't answer, your ass is on the line.
While also dealing with like mental health issues, it
and
makes
your own personal life.
Yeah. Like I had to go to a meeting the other day. Well, not the other day. This was like when I had that really, really bad breakdown, and I was like, I looked
that
like
was
a
during
ghost.
the cats too, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was just going through a lot, and I was like, I probably had cried for like 3 hours, the most I've ever cried in my entire life, and my head was pounding, my eyes were like out to here, and I had to present at a meeting. So I kept my camera off, and I told them, I was like, oh well, I just like fell up my stairs, so I was crying, so I just didn't want to like show my face. Like I literally had to say that, and I was like, that between like the stress of actual work and then like the mental health stuff, it's like it's a lot sometimes. So
I'm in a manager position right now, and my job is to, part of the manager side of it is to like have weekly one-on-ones with my team, and I found that to be really taxing on my mental health because there are some days I just don't want to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I have to. It's a lot sometimes when you're just like dealing with people who are constantly complaining about, you know, and you know, you talk about social media being really draining.
Yeah.
I'm constantly talking to people who are like, we don't have enough workers. We don't have enough people applying to jobs. We need this filled. We need this filled. We need this filled. And it's like, well, why are these positions not being filled? And then you look at the general state of the world and you're like, well, that's why you're not like, and then you go out to dinner and it's like you have a 40-minute wait and you're like, because people aren't going back to work because the standards in which people are treating, like companies are treating people are so low, and they've been so low, and now people are starting to realize that they don't want to be treated like this anymore, and they want
and they don't
more.
want to have to settle for that anymore.
And they don't have to, and like there's other ways to make money, and it's not under a company. And like I think that's taking a toll on me, and like the corporate greed is like is just too much. Like there's people making billions and billions of dollars every year while their workers are barely getting by, and it's like the poverty level versus like the people who are making 1%. Like that's what gives me anxiety. Like
it's wild that people
and then it trickles into like I have like existential dread. And it's like, and then I start spiraling into like, you know, inflation right now is like bacon's super expensive, or you know, whatever it is, and I'm like, how are these prices going to go down? Are they ever going to go down?
And you know what else I think about too? Now I think about World War III. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, they want this. They fucking want to get money off of these things.
This is why hiking Hear me out.
What a turn we just did.
This is why it's so important
to go outside,
to do things outside. Like, okay, and maybe this is coming from a place of privilege for me to be able to say like I can escape these things, and it is right. Like I'm lucky that I can step back every now and then, and this is why I have such a hard time complaining about like and I know like mental health is valid, my anxiety is valid, and all this stuff. I have such a hard time because I know people who are just have it so much worse,
so much worse.
And
there's always going to be somebody that has it worse, though.
For sure. But my point is, find something that you're passionate about that isn't taxing on your mental health. For me, that's hiking or going outside. When I hike, it allows me to step back and see how big the trees are, to see how big, like how long it takes me to get to like the top. And I think, holy shit, this world's huge, right? And I'm in this tiny...
That's so funny you think like that. I think like that when I go travel.
See, there's everybody has something, right?
I'm excited to travel this year. It's my fucking year to travel.
Like there's a moment I distinctly remember when I think it was in Florence. I studied abroad in Florence, and I was walking around and I was just like, there are so many people in the world.
It's huge.
There's so many fucking people in the world. And I'm just looking around in this fucking place that's been
millions
thousands of years, whatever long it's like, and I'm just like, there's so many people, and there were so many people before us,
when I went
so many people after us.
When I went to Puerto Rico after my existential like crisis, my whole panic attack of a week, when I got there and I was 2 minutes from the beach and I put my feet in the ocean, I was like, whoa, the ocean, bro. That shit's massive.
It's huge. And I know for some people that could be a little bit terrifying, but like for me personally, it reminds me that like I'm a drop in the ocean. I'm a small piece of this world.
We are a speck in the massive universe. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson has a whole thing.
And for me, that's comforting because it allows me to see that the world is just a little bit bigger than me, and like, hey, this sucks, but like I could step back and say, in the grand scheme of things, does this shit really like work? Especially, I'm like, does this shit really matter right now? Like I could step back and just be like, okay, I'm gonna be one with myself and nature.
I think the days where it's not as bad, like it's obviously anxiety's happening, but when it's not as bad, I can look at it and I can be like, it's not the end of the world. You can talk to your manager and say, listen, do I have to come to this meeting right now? I am swamped. No, thank you. I'm going to not go to that meeting. And it works out in my favor. Like, it was funny. The Wednesday that I got the note of like, hey, restart your whole project. And that's due in 2 days anyway. That day I cried so much. I was like, how am I doing this? I was screaming at my computer. What am I going to do? The next day, when I got my final, like my version out and they gave me minimal notes, the next day I was like, light work. Why was I so stressed out yesterday? It's fine. And I'm just listening to the Heather's thing all day because I was on some days are good, some days are bad. And
but that's why they say like, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed today? because it's just
I sleep in the middle, so
bro, it's moments are fleeting. Really good.
And feelings are fleeting.
Like really, really good moments are gonna end, and really, really bad moments are gonna end. Every moment is fleeting. The amount of times I think of things in weeks where I'm just like, this week is gonna suck so bad, but then it's gonna be over. And like it's
this
not
too
a good
shall pass.
Like, but at the same time, not the best way to look at things.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, moments are fleeting. You just have to try really hard to just like be in it.
So I love that idea, especially to our young followers. Like especially if you're like in high school or college or whatever it is. Like, I know it sounds so like preachy, but like looking back on some of the stuff that I know I got upset about in high school. Or like it just felt like the end of the world type stuff. It just doesn't like I couldn't even tell you what happened in high school. I don't remember.
I remember getting kicked off the softball team and thinking my whole life was over. I literally thought that I was going to die because that was my life in that moment. That was my world. And I got kicked off the team. They made me run home. It was the worst experience of my entire life. And looking back, and it was because I like to have fun. And looking back on it now, I'm like, I can't believe I let that bother me to the point where like I was so distraught. And all I want to say is fuck them. I'm glad that I had fun. Softball wasn't my whole life. So if there's something in your moment where like it's probably not gonna matter,
it probably won't matter.
Focus on your future, focus on where you're going as an individual, and whoever's bothering you or whatever's bothering you, you're gonna be able to look back and say like, I conquered that, and fuck them. And like that is my advice to you as a young person. Like just keep trucking for real. That's it.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
That's like when in high school when I was applying to go to the Coast Guard Academy and I didn't go in. My best friend got in, I didn't.
And you thought your world was over.
I literally cried in front of my parents.
And how lucky are you?
Dude, I went to film school instead. What I want to do anyway.
That's what I'm
saying.
Sure,
I went to a lot of debt, which also gives me a lot of anxiety, but like, whatever.
These things manage to find a way to work themselves out. Maybe not in the way you expected or the way that you hoped, but somehow we get there.
I like to always say that not this too shall pass kind of thing, but I always tell myself like, it has to work out. There's no other way.
There's no other chance.
Because I refuse to let it.
You said that in our hiking video.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
So back then was when it began, where I changed my mindset of this is how I'm not going to fail. I don't allow myself to fail because failure is my biggest fear. So it has to work out.
It has to work.
It has to.
Yeah. Well, that's really, I mean, listen.
We went a lot of ways here.
Like I said, please
that's our update though.
Yeah, that's our like mental update.
I'm just gonna say this real quick now. I will say it on like our stories, but like I was mentioning earlier, I'm getting off of our social media for a bit. I will be on Discord. Discord's where I go. I happy there. That's where my family is.
There's no toxicity.
I don't want to be on these social medias. I've already got TikTok off my phone because all I see there is just anger all day. Everyone's fighting. Everyone's mad. Oh my God, you spoiled Crescent City 2. How fucking dare you, you evil scum of the earth. And I'm like, great. Okay.
People are mean online.
I'm going to go sit with my dog and watch Bad Girls Club.
You can come hang out with me.
Yeah, people are not nice, and it's weird to me. It's weird to me as somebody who would say it to your face, like a person who literally would get in your face and tell you exactly what I said online. Like if I was the type of person that said something online, to see people say shit online and be like, would you say that to to my face? Because you definitely wouldn't, and I would. So why the fuck why are you saying it to me?
Before we end this, my physical therapist the other day, I was doing PT and he mentioned Michaela Schifrin, who's a skier. She's very, very good. She's doing really bad in the Olympics. Her dad just died. Her grandpa just died. Ugh. She's having a really hard time. No. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but she's having a bad time.
It's having a factor in it.
So people are going on Twitter and on social media and saying, you fucking piece of shit, you suck, I can't believe you represent the United States. And my physical therapist, my physical therapist was like, could you imagine being the kind of person that something that doesn't matter in your everyday life, like somebody else winning the Olympics, doesn't affect you at all? Could you imagine going online and attacking that person? And I was like, I really can't. I can't imagine it. And that's what we have to deal with. That's why it's so important to just like step away from that shit. I went for a walk yesterday and my mental health was just like, it was like a switch. I haven't been able to do anything because of my knee.
I needed to get warm because I can't be outside in this cold right now.
But you know what? That's an interesting thing though, like, because I've definitely wrote online like Ted Cruz is a scumbag or something like that. But then it's like, Well, Ted Cruz is a scumbag. You know what I
That's
mean?
different. Ted
I
Cruz
think
wasn't
there's-
trying to win the Olympics.
I think there's a line.
Yeah, like,
there's a limit.
what's the
There's a
line?
limit.
Yeah.
I think everyone.
I don't know.
Again, it's freedom of speech.
I don't know. I
Everyone's
would
allowed to
almost
say what
argue
they
that.
want.
I would almost argue
I
that
know
that's bad
not,
too.
That's not great either.
Why are we have to put this negativity out there?
But like
out there?
he is a piece of shit.
Totally, but when you posted that online, like
Does it matter?
does it-
I don't know if
where's
I
it
said that
going?
exactly. Don't
so
quote me. But
when I tried to get when I first started doing a Twitter again, like when I got one, right?
Yeah.
Back when, I don't know, years ago. I deleted it now. But years ago, I'd be typing out something I thought was funny. I'm like,
Same.
does this fucking matter?
I do it all the time.
And I delete it, and then I
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, does it matter? It does not
As
matter.
I, like, go
it
to my
does not
Twitter.
matter.
No.
So that's how I live my life, and that's why I'm barely on social media anyway. Before we got like we were saying on our Q&A episode, before we got
But
the podcast,
I kind of disagree.
I just stopped social.
I kind of disagree because a lot of people do think it matters. There's a lot of people
I
that
know.
follow us and follow your content
I
and
know.
get something out of it.
And I feel bad because I feel like I'm leading those who want that.
No, you shouldn't feel like that. But I'm just
But-
saying I don't want you to think like your thoughts and your opinions don't matter because they do.
I mean, the ones I'm on this podcast, I guess, do.
They all do. They all matter. You matter.
I matter.
Matters.
yeah, I don't know. There's just so many. There's so many weird lines
There is.
on everything,
There is.
and like life is so.
Let's just
gray.
all fucking be
I
nice.
think the world's a little tumultuous for me
Let's
right
all
now.
be nice.
I think I just want to. I've been saying this.
Let's pick up some garbage.
It's scary to me.
Yeah, we're doing
It's
the beach
scary how-
cleanup. When are
Yeah.
we doing beach cleanup?
when it gets warmer.
Okay. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
It's scary to me how mean people can be about things and like talk about things that they don't know anything about,
Yes.
or like
Yep.
make judgments on people's lives, or make like infer things or whatever it is. Like it's scary to me like how cancel culture works and how like the mob mentality works. And we see it on Bookstagram. We
Yep.
see it on Bookstagram all the time.
I'm
we
seeing
see
it too often on Bookstagram where just like no one's
We're
happy.
all just fucking
you know?
human beings. We're all learning, and like to pressure people to say like you need to make a statement
Apologize
about
or-
this. You
yeah.
need to do that. You need to like. There's this pressure to be like this perfect person online, and it's fucking. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Like, why wouldn't I value speaking in person and talking to people and like expressing your feelings in private and not necessarily like running to social media to like
Jump on the soapbox.
because there's no you know if you're jumping on social media, your intention is not to
It's a
have a
shame.
conversation.
It's a shame.
1000%. Nobody's intention when you're like making a story or going online to like call somebody out is never to bring education or to start a
And
conversation.
if it is, I see rare of it.
it isn't
I
because you
see-
wouldn't.
I will say that there are people who do use their platforms for the right reasons.
No, but I mean when you're calling somebody out.
Yeah.
Unless you haven't
the
like
work
tried
that's being done is when the conversation goes to a private conversation.
for sure. And if you haven't already tried to reach out to that person and you're just like or if it's a monstrous person who's killing people online or like causing really really bad mayhem and shit, fine, call them out, great. But like your intention when you do that, there's no way your intention is good and saying like I want to start a conversation. Like it's just not.
You know what it reminds me of? And it just reminds me of like the medieval times, just the public
The mob mentality.
of just throwing rocks at the random person in the street. Because
Like
I don't do that today.
getting what is that called when you're in the
Yeah, and that whole thing.
what is it
Yeah, the guillotine.
called?
No,
it's
the
not a
guillotine is to cut your head off. But basically, yeah, it just feels like that. It feels like
I just wish everybody would just be nicer and chill and like be patient and kind and I don't know, man. We're never gonna see it.
I was telling Kate, because Kate's coming.
I can't wait.
Kate's coming for the week, end of first week of March. My best friend from the UK is coming. We haven't seen each other since 2019, and I'm so excited. And I was telling her, this is it. This is my reset button. Is when you come and we have a week where I don't have to worry about work because I've canceled vacation twice in the last 4 months because of work. So I'm like, my best friend's coming, and we're gonna have so much fun. And after that, I'm gonna get back to my brain. My brain's gonna get back to hopefully normal.
Working out, doing the whole nine.
I don't think I'm on that level where it's like debilitating. I just have those moments
I feel you.
where it's debilitating, you know?
I feel you.
So sure, therapy could work for me, but sometimes I feel like I don't respond well to someone talking to me about things.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I have friends who are just like, well, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
And why don't you do that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I need
I
you
try
to.
so hard not to do that, but I definitely do that, like out of instinct. For
I
sure.
think so.
And I do it too.
This is
but
actually,
sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because I used to do that a lot until I actually went through depression.
Yeah.
And you realize that like you can't just get out of bed. You
No,
can't
yeah.
just
Yeah.
like
Totally.
you can't just
You
go
can't just drink
outside,
water.
Right.
drink more water,
Right.
or like go out and exercise, or
Yeah.
put like call your friend. Like there's a real like it's like I don't even know how to describe the feeling, but I'm
The
sure
motivation's
somebody
been
has,
so
but, like,
low.
You just can't. You can't. And I can't.
I was going to a
say that enough.
nutritionist. I
It's just
I
hard
got a
to-
nutritionist because I was like, I need to get back to like my health. Like I feel like I'm on the wrong side of these things. I went to see her, and my anxiety will not let me go see her again because I just did not follow what she mentioned
I've been
because
there.
work, yada yada, excuse after excuse after excuse. And my mom the other day, she goes, whatever happened to the nutritionist? I was like,
I feel that though.
I'm not going back.
Yeah.
I can't go back
I feel
because I
that.
feel like there's this block of me not letting me go there.
Yeah. I totally,
So.
I understand where that's coming from. All right. Well,
We can talk all day about this.
we really
I know,
could.
really, really
Like,
could.
if you guys are interested in this too, like, let us know because we could have these discussions. Like, I like doing check-ins. I like being honest with y'all.
Yeah.
And I
Where we're at.
Yeah, and I like to hear from you guys too. Like, where are you guys at right now? And the mental health chat in our Discord has been really beneficial, I think.
Yeah.
Just like pouring, like being able to like express what you're going through, it does make a world of difference. Like, even I have commented in there, and I've like felt better after just like typing it
it's
out.
almost like
A diary.
Dear Diary, that was
like
fun.
a diary,
Like
a
Tom
word
Riddle.
vomit.
Yeah.
Tom Riddle's diary,
Yeah,
where you
okay.
write something and he
And it
responds.
disappears.
Yeah.
It just goes into the ether.
I love that.
And you don't have to continue
And then
conversation
he
afterwards. You can
responds
just
back.
you can
Yep.
just say it, and no one has to say anything else back to you. But having you say it out loud sort of like
It
takes
helps.
the weight off.
It does. So if you want to join that, just head on over to our Instagram account. You can look in there, link tree. It'll take you to it. That's Books and Betches, BETCHES. And if you have any questions for us, always feel free to hit us up. We answer every DM, and we love talking to you guys. So thank you so much for joining us on this special episode. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with another book next week. So that's
We'll be
exciting.
back to the laughs and chaos.
Look forward to that. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.